So first of all, a lot of people have said, why have you fitted a VW engine? Why haven't you stayed with the old Zetec or a CVH? Now, I've had an RS Turbo before with a CVH in it. It was tuned up by JamSport. It was 225 brake horsepower. And it was the most unreliable piece of shit I've ever owned. You have problems with the ignition, you have problems with gearboxes. I sent the gearbox off and got a stage 1 gearbox. I think the input shaft had bigger bearings or something on there, from a well-known gearbox person back in the day, and I managed to break that in a couple of weeks. They're just an old technology engine. So why didn't I fit a Zetec in this? That was the plan. So I had the 1.4 CVH in it originally, and then I thought, I know what, because I had a race car at the time, which was a Peugeot 205, and if you look down on some of the videos on this YouTube channel, you will see some of the videos of the Peugeot 205 that I used to race. That thing was a crazy little beast. 280 brake horsepower, good chunk of torque, around 180 foot-pounds of torque, totally NA, no turbo on it, and it was a screamer. Had some big Gen V throttle bodies on it, 48s I think they were, and it was loud and it was powerful, and it only weighed 620 kilograms without me in it. Mega thing, a lot of fun to race. Me and my dad had many years of racing it from 2014 up to about 2020 when COVID hit. Since then my dad's been quite poorly with his heart, so we've sold it all on, because it wouldn't be the same just going on my own. He loved being there and watching and taking part, so we've sold that car off, hence why I built the van, because I still wanted something quick to drive around in. So yeah, the plan was I was going to fit a Zetec on Gen V throttle bodies and have a bit of a screamer. But when I started looking into it, looking at the engine, speccing it up, I thought, God, that's quite a lot of money. Like, you could sink a serious amount of money into this engine to get it quick. Now, a lot of people, they have a standard Zetec engine, there's stick some throttle bodies on it and maybe just map it. You get like 160 brake horsepower, if that. That wasn't going to cut it. I was not interested in driving around in something and messing around, taking the engine out, CVH engine out, and putting a Zetec in for 160 brake. That's rubbish. You got flipping people in work vans with more power than that these days, you know. So I wanted something a bit quicker, something that would get down the road a bit, you know. So I thought, okay, let's forget the throttle body idea. What about putting a turbo on it? And I was looking into that, and then a lot of things that people don't think about is the fact that you've got a crappy 1980 gearbox which is used to like 100 brake horsepower, and you're going to try and double or more power through it, and it ain't going to work. And you read loads of that online, people with the old gearboxes just breaking them, changing them out all the time. I thought, Jesus, okay, you fit turbo and you do all the rest of it, and then you need some decent ignition, ECU and things like that. And then I started thinking, you're talking nearly 9 grand if you want to do it properly. This is not cutting corners into a piece of rubbish which ain't gonna last. I wanted something that I could jump into, drive 200 miles if I wanted to a show, go to Silverstone, go down to Castle Combe. I wanted something reliable. So I kind of thought, I don't know if this is the right way to go about it. And then my mate Steve, I noticed his Staff Tech YouTube channel and his Facebook was sort of, they were taking off quite well around the time, and he basically was concentrating on the 1.8 20 valve engine, which is fitted to a whole host of cars, from VW Golfs, Audi Quattro, Audi TTs, you know, they have those engines in them as well. Different configuration with the inlet manifolds, might be pointing different ways on various ones, but ultimately deep down they are pretty much the same engine. So a lot of parts are interchangeable. So yeah, Steve was getting good results chucking in the 1.820 valves. He had one in the Peugeot 205 first of all, was a bit of a sleep on the road car, and then he got mixed up with MR2s and Thomas, and that's who helped put the engine in here. So cut a long story short of a few messages to Thomas and Steve over the years, I thought, why don't we fit a 1.820 valve in it? So let's get down to cost, because I've had messages about how much does it cost to do this. Now, a lot of the stuff I have done myself, but also a lot of stuff I've paid Thomas and Steve to do. And again, Steve's been amazing with the information he's given me over the years, so really grateful for him for those. I know he probably gets really pissed off with people messaging him, because it's probably just me, lots of other people message him about these engines. He should be charging for it, put it that way. But anyway, appreciate what they've done over the years. So let's get down to cost. So this engine was from a Breakers, and I think from memory it cost around £300. So that came with the engine, the 6-speed gearbox, which is mega strong. These gearboxes are built to last. There's people running 500 on them. There's mods you can do to them. You can take them to gearbox specialists and they can do mods to them to make them a little bit stronger. But crikey, 500 brake. I know in Steve's MR2 he was around the 500 area, possibly higher, I think. And all he's got is a diff in there, as far as I know. He's just got a different diff. So the gearbox is really strong. That came with the engine. It also came with the wiring loom and the ECU as well. And these ECUs are mappable. You can go to places like where I've got mine mapped, Badger 5, and they can map that up, no problem at all. So I thought, well, hold on a minute, we're buying something that cost around £300-400, for instance. You know, this was a few years ago now that we did this. You know, we kind of started this around 2021. I dropped it off in 2020 Christmas, and 2021 was when I got it back around March, April time. So the prices might have gone up in second-hand engines a little bit now. That's all I'm getting at. So yeah, so budget between £300-400, and that'll get you an engine, that'll get you the gearbox and the ECU. I've done nothing to the gearbox at all. It's just got the standard diff in it, which is fine in this power. Like I said, it's touching around 300 brake horsepower and 300 foot-pounds of torque. And maybe I'll fit a diff at some point, a better one. But to be honest, I'm not tracking it. I'm not taking it around Castle Combe. I'm not trying to get around the lanes quick in it to do deliveries or anything like that. So at the moment, for what I'm using it for, I don't really see the need to take the gearbox out, put a diff in it, and spend a large chunk of money doing that. If a gearbox comes up with a diff in it at a decent price, maybe I'll jump at it, but at the minute she's good. So I've got a different clutch in it as well. So I've gone for the dual mass flywheel, and I've got a 4-paddle clutch in it. So the 4-paddle clutch is a Sash one. altogether you're talking around about £800 for that. But it's a decent clutch, it's not going to slip, it's probably over-spec'd for the 300 brake I got in this thing, but I wanted something decent, and if I did want to up the power at some point, I've got the clutch already covered. So that's the gearbox done. Engine wise, it's still running the standard pistons, it's still running the standard rods. Again, I'm on the limit of those standard rods. I wouldn't really want to push much more power through it. When it got mapped by Bill at Badger 5, he said, that's it, I'm not prepared to push it anymore, you want something reliable, you've got it. And since he mapped it, 4 years ago, I think it was. Yeah, sure it was 4 years ago. It's been fine, been absolutely fine. I was thinking earlier, what have I actually had go wrong with this over the years? And it's not a lot. I'll get to that at the end of what I'm going to explain about the engine. So yeah, standard piston, standard rods. It's got bigger injectors. It's got 610cc injectors in it at the moment from Badger 5, and that's about it. A lot of the stuff's been taken off the engine. Emission stuff is all gone. A lot of rubber pipes and that are connected to those sort of things. They leak and the engines start running bad, and that's why they get a bad name, because they got a lot of stuff fitted on these from standard. So you take all that off, you kind of have a bare engine, you're getting rid of the stuff which often you have problems with. And that's about it on obviously the engine. Obviously I've had a custom intercooler, big intercooler hidden behind the front here. Custom pipes, got custom exhaust downpipe, so runs a whole set big turbo on it on the top, you can see. And that's the basis of it. Now if you want to pay someone to do all the work, probably anything from 5 to 10 grand depending on where you go, because you need custom engine mounts fitted. I mean, Thomas has done an amazing job in getting this in. It's nice and flat. If you look down at that angle, look, it's just nice and flat in the bay. I've seen a lot of different engine conversions over the years, and it looks like someone's just kicked them in. They're all on the piss, they're not level, not straight, and it does look like someone's literally thrown it in, stamped on it, and shut the bonnet. We've gone for a proper OEM look to it, like it's meant to be in there. So yeah, you got custom mounts on it, custom exhaust system, custom intercooler pipes, big intercooler behind the bumper, and it's hidden as well, the intercooler, which is quite nice. I think it's about 1 foot high, and it runs the whole length of the bumper. And I wasn't going to start cutting it all out, and to be honest with you, you can't even see it, but it does a good job. You look at the inlet temps when you're driving around, they're decent, they're good. Yeah, and obviously you've got a custom exhaust on it as well. There's nothing off the shelf you're going to get for an Escort van. There's nothing from a car which fits on the van. If you want a decent exhaust system, you're going to have to go and get one made up. So yeah, if people are looking at getting this fitted, budget anything from 5 to 10 grand. And then you got the wiring. Then you got all the wiring to make it work with the van. I mean, I only recently, if you go back on some of my videos, I've only recently just got the dash fully working. The coolant temperature gauge is now working. The miles per hour speedo is working correctly now. All these little things are all things that I had to sort out. I basically paid the guys to fit the engine, do the exhaust system, do the intercooler, do the pipes, and get it starting and stopping. I wasn't interested about having the dash fully working, so when I got it, pretty much the only thing on the dash that worked was the fuel gauge. So everything else, the revs, everything was all sorted out. over the last couple of years. So yeah, there you go, that's the long shot of it. It's reliable, it starts on a cold morning, it runs fine, it's reliable like I said, and like I said back in earlier part of the video, what have I had go wrong with it? I can quite easily list it on one hand because hardly anything's gone wrong with it. Once I shot up the road and a boost pipe popped off, which left me sort of stranded on the road in a dangerous area, but that was just literally a matter of pushing it on and tightening it back up. I've had a drive shaft pop on it recently, again that was on another video, come out from having these tyres fitted, and the drive shaft shut itself. I had a clutch start slipping not long after getting the vehicle back, and looking back now I did waste a bit of money on that. And what it actually was I had a leak from the rocker cover on the right side of the rocker cover, and it's a notorious area for it to leak. You can buy gaskets for it. I very much doubt it had a new gasket on it. It was the original one from 2005 when the engine was built, and that leaked and basically went down the side of the block on top of the gearbox, and there's a very small little threaded hole on top of the gearbox, and over time a little bit of that oil and a bit of water, because there was a little pipe leaking on the where the green sensor is for the coolant temperature, so for slight weeping, and that mixture went down that hole and onto the clutch, and it contaminated it, and the clutch started slipping. I thought, because I've had it mapped now, this clutch, the standard sort of clutch, it's a blueprint clutch, something wrong with it. So I wasted a bit of money sending the van off to go and get repaired somewhere, and they were not interested in doing it, so I had to then pay 2 lots of recovery, which added up to about £160. Basically taking the van on a tour around the fucking Cotswolds, which pissed me off a little bit. So I did it myself on the drive. I was like, fuck this, I'll do it myself. Pulled the gearbox out, put another standard clutch in it, and then went on with it as normal. Didn't notice any leaks at the time, running it around, and it happened again. And that's when I took the gearbox back off again, so I've had it off a few times myself, just on the drive. I noticed what was going on, and fixed up all the leaks, fixed the rocker cover gasket as well, and the it's over in the cam side of the engine, there's a little gasket there. Replaced both of those, no oil leakage now, and that's when I put a bigger clutch in it. So yeah, I had a bit of a problem with the gearbox and the clutch, so it's just a clutch issue, and that was just down to a coolant and oil leak. Just one of those things. Should have changed the gasket, but I didn't realise. Live and learn a little bit of this. So yeah, that was about it. So I've driven this van pretty far. I've driven it down to Dawlish Warren from the Cotswolds area. Absolutely fine. Drove down there and back, a few blasts down the motorway. I'd happily get in this and drive it up to Scotland. Got no worries about that, no problem at all. And that's it. It's been really reliable. And you know, I've had people say, why did you do that? Why you should have kept it Ford. I don't care. I don't care really. I'm not really one of those which are just like, oh, I like everything, even the nuts and bolts from bloody Ford. It's not original, not like that. No. I like getting in a car, a van, taking it for a blast, like I've just done. I've just gone up the hill, out towards Bolton on the waterway. Nice little drive around, come back, no problems, no leaks, nothing going on with it. So mega reliable. Like going back to when I had a CVH engine, endless amounts of problems with that. Old wiring, old electronics. I wouldn't get involved in the CVH again. Rattly things as well, didn't they? Even put new tappets in, they still sound rattly after a few days. Get rid of that. So it's a modern, you know, drive-by-wire throttle, lots of different sensors, got 2 knock sensors on it as well. It's reliable, and it starts and it drives, and it's a lot of fun. I've had a few people say, what about putting some bigger power in it? Oh, get it down a 1/4 mile, have a race with Terry Newton in his one. I ain't gonna beat that, am I? You know, there's some serious money in that van. Might not seem it to some, but some serious money in that. Even the gearbox and the clutch and that is mega. And that's one thing I want to do this year, is try and get down to Santa Pod and have a good look over that van. Like, what suspension does it run, you know? I'd like to have a little look at that. I've never seen anything. There's a couple of videos about it, but what suspensions? Has it still got the leaf springs on the back? Who knows? I don't know. So maybe get down to the pod and have a little look. Maybe run down, if one of my mates wants to go down for a Run What He Brung day. Maybe run the van up. But anyway, I built this for a bit of fun. I was going for a real shit time when I was in the hospital. I'm going to go into too much, but I was in the hospital for a long time. I come out of all that and put all my time and energy into this van. And so it's quite sentimental to me. And obviously vans, run in the family for a long time. My dad had a whole host of Escort vans when he was an electrician. That was their company vehicle. So my earliest memory was sat on his lap in a Mark 1 Escort van, driving it down the little lane where we used to live, sat on his lap. And then he went and he had the Mark 3s, and he had the Mark 4s, and then he had a Mark 6. So I was kind of brought up sitting in the back of an Escort van on a toolbox, going to school in it in the mornings, or we'd load up a little motorbike and we'd go up the hill on the weekends. So there's a lot of sentimental in the vans, right? So that's part of the reason why I've still got this one and spent a bit of money on it. But anyway, this is probably a bit boring video, me rabbiting on, but maybe to explain a little bit about why I've done this conversion. It's mainly down to cost and reliability, and there's a whole host of tuning things available for this, which are still going on now. People are still making things for these engines now, and like I said, once you get all the junk off them, they are really reliable. So anyway, like and subscribe. We've got Castle Combe RS Owners Day next, so I'm going to be down there, not on track, just going to go down there, have a little look around. Hopefully the weather will be better than last year. It's a bit crap with the rain, but anyway, like I said, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.